Hello, I'm Tim Green from Disc on Demand, and in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to create your artwork in a software called GIMP, which is a free software available to download at www.gimp.org. It's quite an advanced software, but to do basic things, I'm just going to show you how to do the basic things, and if you want to do more advanced things, you can just look up those on Google. So we'll open up GIMP. And once GIMP is open, just open up the template that you've downloaded from the website at Resources Templates. So I'm going to be creating a Blu-ray cover in this tutorial. And you can see there's the template. Here's the layers. So these are the individual parts that make up the document. And on the left here, we have the tools. Now, just so that we can see the template a bit better, I'm just going to press New Layer, and I'm going to fill that with white. So here I can change the color of the fill, and I can press the fill button, white, and then I'll move that behind the Blu-ray insert. So now you can see the template a bit better. You can see that here is the back cover, there's the spine, and there's the front cover. The green line is the document edge. The red line is where your graphics should be going to, and the blue line in the middle is where all your important items should be within, just in case they get cut off. So yeah, let's get started. So I want a black background, so I'm going to again use the fill tool, and I'm going to change my color of the fill by clicking on this white square here, and I'm going to change it to black. Okay, and I'm just going to fill on my new layer that I created. Now I want to add some text. So this Blu-ray is for a film called Bird Watching. It's a short film. So I'm going to click on the text tool here, and I'm going to create a text box, and then you can change the font and settings in here. So I want to use a font called Bibas New, and I want it to be white. And let's type in the name of the film, which is Bird Watching. Let's just bring up the font size so we can actually see what we're doing here. Bird Watching. Bring it up like that. So to scale it up, just change your font size. Let's try 200. And I still want to go bigger, so 300. Let's go 320. That's too big, so let's go 315. 310. Yeah, 310 looks about right. So I'm now going to swap to the Move tool, which is just over here. And now I can move that text around how I want. Let's put it down there. And underneath, I'm going to write the tagline. So I'm going to go create a new text box. And you can see each time I do this, I'm adding a new layer, which can be moved individually. And there I'm going to write let's change this back to Bibas New. And let's bring that up to 100. And back to white. A short film about outdoor recreation and murder. I'm just going to scale that down, and I'm going to go back to the Move tool, and I'm going to move that in position. There we go. So that's text done. Now to add a picture, just go File, Open as Layers, and I've got a folder on the desktop called Birdwatching Stills, and I want to insert 4933, I believe. Yep. So there's my new layer, and you can see it's been given a new layer, and I'm going to move that over here, and I'm going to scale it down. So I'm going to use the Scale tool, which is just here, and you can see with the Scale tool, you can add width and height in pixels or percent, and you can also change it so that proportions aren't kept, or proportions are kept. So let's just scale it down like that. Keep going. And that looks good about there. So I'll just press scale. And now I also want to get rid of this area here. So I'll press the select tool, select that area, and then press delete. And that'll get rid of that side. I can also go and select none to get rid of that selection. And I'll just repeat that for the bottom image, which is this one here. So I'll move that in position with the move tool, scale it down with the scale tool, making sure the keep proportion button is kept. Press scale, and there we go. So now if I want to move these layers, I can just select the layers. So that should be called girl running and tree. Just make sure you press enter after renaming them. So I want to select tree, and I want to grab the move tool, and I want to center that tree a bit more on the front cover. That looks good about there. And then let's grab the select tool and remove that area. There we go. That's looking good for the front cover. And then basically you can keep doing it with those tools. There's also a rotation tool here. So for example, for the side, make it Babas new, font 50, and I want it to be white. There we go. And let's make that a bit bigger. Let's try 100. 75 is probably about right. And now what I can do is I can rotate that. I want to rotate it 90 degrees. And now I can move that. Let's move the active layer and move the birdwatching layer down there. And I want to scale it up a bit as well. So let's grab the scale tool and scale that up. That's about right. And then you can just keep using those tools until you create the entire cover. Alright, so I'm done now. Now I need to save it. So to save it for sending to disk on demand, first of all, you need to hide the guides, because we don't want to be printing the green and blue lines all over the document. So first of all, hide that layer. Then you can go File, Export As. Then you can select a file type. We'll go with a TIFF, but you can choose most formats. We convert it using Photoshop, so anything that can be imported into Photoshop you can save it as. TIFF is one of those. So if you want to be safe, choose TIFF. TIFF's very high quality, so TIFF's always a good choice. And we'll call that, Blu-ray, insert, export. And we won't have any compression, just click export. Now, that's our Blu-ray cover. Next up, we need to do the same with our disc. And if you were doing like a CD case or something like that, you need to do that. You need to do the same thing and have a separate file for each disc and each side to each paper part. So for example, CD cases have up to 4 different files for a CD case, and then each disc will be a CD case. In fact, I'm going to create a disc now for this one, which will be quite a simple one. I'll just have white text on a black background. So let's do that. We'll go to right. So for this, as you can see, it's exactly the same process. I'm going to create a new layer, move it behind the guide layer, and I'm going to fill that in black. And this one's I'm going to keep really simple. I'm just going to add some white text. make that Babas new. In fact, what I'll do, let's cancel that. So let's go to the move tool. Where is it? Bird watching. Move it onto that layer and you'll see it just appear there. I'll move it up. And I'll need to scale it down as well. So I'll the scale tool and just scale it down like that. And I'll also put the Blu-ray logo on there. I'll just do the same thing. Grab the Blu-ray logo from the side, drag it on there, and I'll move that down there. And then I'll do the same thing as I did before, hide the guide layer, File, Export As, select File Type, TIFF, and then save that wherever you want to save it. And that's done. So that's basically how you create artwork in GIMP. We've shown you how to import images, add text, and scale, rotate, and crop those images. You can do many more things with GIMP, but we won't go into those in this tutorial. We managed to create quite a nice looking Blu-ray cover using those basic techniques. We'll also be having tutorials of how to make Blu-rays, DVDs, and CDs, audio CDs, and also a tutorial on how to set up the project on the site when you're ready to get going. If you want to watch those tutorials, I'll see you in those, but otherwise, goodbye.